Ladies and gentlemen, listen closely. What if I told you that hiding in your change jar, your old glove compartment, or even in the back of your kitchen junk drawer, there might be a single quarter, just 25 cents, that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1 million today? Yes, I said $1 million. It's not a myth. It's not a rumor. This is real, the 1995 D Washington quarter. A coin that most people overlook, a coin that millions have spent without a second thought, is now one of the rarest, most valuable coins on the market. So don't go anywhere. Because what I'm about to share with you might just change your life and your wallet. Bill Clinton was president. The internet was just starting to show up in American homes. And quarters, well, they were just spare change, but at the Denver Mint that year, something unusual happened. A small batch of Washington quarters minted with the D mark ended up being struck with microscopic but critical variations. At first, no one noticed, they looked like every other quarter. Same face of George Washington. Same eagle on the reverse. Same shiny metal, but in the fine details, something was off, and decades later, collectors started realizing that some of those 1995 D quarters weren't just different, they were incredibly rare enough to send their value skyrocketing. Now that you've got the setup, stay with me, because I'm going to reveal exactly what makes these coins worth a fortune and how to know if you've got one up. But first, let's dive a little deeper into how coins become million-dollar treasures. You see, in the world of coin collecting, value isn't just about age. It's about rarity, condition, and minting errors, and here's where the magic happens. The 1995 D Washington quarter has all three factors working in its favor. Not every 1995 D is valuable, but a select few, those struck with precise minting defects, doubled dies, or specific surface features, are in incredibly high demand. And when you combine that rarity with MS68 or higher condition, which means the coin is nearly perfect, untouched, and flawlessly preserved, that's when collectors and investors begin dropping jaw-dropping amounts of money. And now, if you're wondering what makes these coins different, you're about to find out. You'll want to grab a magnifying glass. If you've got a 1995 D quarter, the first thing to check is the mint mark. You'll find it just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse, or head side. Now here's where things get interesting. Some of these quarters were struck with what's called a doubled die obverse. This means the image on the front was impressed twice, slightly off, creating a faint but visible doubling. Look closely at the word Liberty or In God We Trust. If the letters appear shadowed or doubled, that's a strong indicator. That's when the metal die used to stamp the coin develops a crack, causing raised lines or odd textures on the coin's surface. Combine that with sharp strike detail, perfect luster, and little to no contact marks, and you're looking at a potential MS68 grade coin. Coins graded MS68 or higher are so rare from 1995 D that only a handful exist today. The last one sold in a private collector's auction for over $1 million. Let's talk about the people who cashed in. There's the story of a man from Texas, a retired auto mechanic, who discovered a flawless 1995 D quarter inside a coffee can where he'd thrown his change for years. At first, he thought nothing of it. Then one day, while watching a TV show about rare coins, he paused and said, "Wait a minute, mine looks just like that." He mailed it in for grading, and weeks later, the call came in that he ended up selling it to a private collector in Arizona and used the money to pay off his mortgage, buy an RV, and start traveling the country with his wife, all from one little coin. And then there's the story of a woman in Ohio. She found hers at a yard sale, bundled with other loose change for $2, the 1995 D quarter inside that bag? Minted to perfection, sold at auction $4,985,000. You never know where these coins are hiding, and now that you're hooked, let me walk you through what to do if you think you've found one. So let's say you're holding a 1995 D quarter that looks promising. Here's what you do next. First, don't clean it. Ever cleaning a rare coin can ruin its surface and drop the value faster than you can say $1 million. Next, get it evaluated by a professional. You want a grading service like PCGS or INGC. These are the gold standards in coin grading. They'll assess its authenticity, grade its condition, and help you determine its true market value. MS66, MS67, or the Dream MS68 or better, congratulations. You're holding a piece of American history and a serious fortune. Now, you're probably wondering, how does someone actually sell $1 million coin? Well, let's look at the options. Selling a high-value coin is not like posting it on Craigslist. Companies like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers are trusted by serious buyers worldwide. They'll showcase your coin, promote it, and handle the bidding process. Then there are private collectors. And yes, even billionaires collect rare coins the way others collect fine art or vintage cars. And when they want something rare, they'll pay big. Lastly, some numismatic investment firms buy coins for their portfolios. If your coin is certified and rare enough, they may offer you a flat cash deal, get multiple offers. Do your homework. Consult a coin advisor if needed, because when you're talking seven figures, every detail matters. Now, before I wrap up, let me ask you something important. Think about it. How many 1995 D quarters have slipped through your hands without a second glance, but now you know better and now you understand what to look for? What the signs are. And most importantly, what the payoff could be. So here's what I want you to do tonight: grab that old jar of coins. Go through your glove box. Check your drawers. You never know, your $1,000,000 miracle might be right there, waiting for you to notice it. And if you do find something, remember this moment, because that little 25-cent coin could change everything. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next coin that changes your life might already be in your pocket. Have you ever dug through your change jar and thought, these old quarters can't be worth much? What if I told you that one of those dusty coins, specifically a 2020 D Salt River Bay quarter, could be worth up to $1.1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A single coin. From your pocket. Worth more than a luxury home. Now imagine accidentally spending that at a vending machine. Stick around because we're going to dive into the incredible story of this modern-day treasure, why this coin is commanding jaw-dropping prices, and how to know if you might be holding onto a goldmine without even realizing it. And here's the kicker: this isn't just about one coin. This story connects to the fascinating world of error coins, low mintage issues, secret collector markets, and how everyday folks just like you are cashing in. You won't want to miss the detail at the 18-minute mark that could be the difference between a 25-cent quarter and $1 million payday. Let's start with the basics. The 2020 Salt River Bay quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This one specifically celebrates the Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The design features a red mangrove tree rising from the water, symbolic, beautiful, and now, incredibly valuable. It was minted at multiple locations, but the one that's creating all the buzz? The Denver Mint Edition, the 2020 D. Now you might wonder, why Denver? Why not Philadelphia or San Francisco? Well, here's where it gets interesting. While millions were struck, a few 2020 D Salt River Bay quarters emerged with extremely rare errors, making them highly sought after by collectors. But that's not all. Let's break down why this coin is commanding such a sky-high price. The $1.1 million valuation isn't for just any 2020 D quarter. It's for coins with a specific set of traits so rare that only a handful have surfaced in the wild. These include misstrikes, double dies, and off-center minting, along with other striking anomalies that experts refer to as numismatic unicorns. Picture this. A Colorado man digging through his change during the early months of the pandemic notices something odd. The tree on the quarter looked like it had doubled roots, literally. It was a double die reverse error. He gets it graded, auctions it off, and boom, $872,000. That was just the beginning. Another coin, discovered in Texas, showed extreme die deterioration and cut breaks, combined with a sharp off-center strike. That one? Sold in a private collector circle for $1.10 million. And yes, you guessed it, both coins had that little D mint mark. If you're sitting there thinking, what's a mint mark, and why does it matter? You're not alone. A mint mark is that small letter near the bottom right of the coin's face, next to Washington's ponytail. A D means Denver. A P means Philadelphia. And S stands for San Francisco. In 2020, something strange happened. The Denver Mint's Salt River Bay run produced a cluster of flawed coins, so few, in fact, that experts still aren't sure how many exist. Some say 12. Others claim it could be fewer than 5. It means that if you have a Salt River Bay quarter from Denver in your sock drawer, wallet, or even in your car's cup holder, it might be time to look a little closer. And in a few minutes, I'll tell you exactly how to inspect it and what to look for. Before we dig into what signs to look for, let me ask you this. What would you do with $1.10 million? Would you retire early? Buy your dream car? Help out your kids or grandkids? Maybe finally take that Alaskan cruise your spouse keeps talking about? Imagine that future. Then imagine it riding around in your jeans pocket unnoticed for years. That's exactly what happened to a retired veteran in Kansas. He was collecting coins for fun, nothing serious. One day he notices a Salt River Bay quarter with a sharp die clash mark, like a ghostly outline of another coin imprinted into it. He sends it to a grading service out of curiosity, graded MS-68 with a rare error signature, auctioned. Sold, and now, he lives on a small ranch paid for with a 25-cent piece. Here's the part you've been waiting for. How do you know if your 2020 Salt River Bay quarter is worth 7 figures? Next, under a magnifying glass or even a good phone camera, examine the design for a doubling on the tree roots or branches, ghost outlines of design elements on the wrong side of the coin, off-center images, raised blobs near the edge or Washington's face. These could be die breaks or cuds. Any strange metal texture like ripples or craters. If your quarter shows any of these, you could be sitting on a hidden treasure. But don't just take your coin to any pawn shop. That's where a lot of people go wrong and end up losing out on thousands, even millions. You need to send it to a reputable grading service, PCGS or NGC. They'll examine it, certify it, and give it a grade. A high-grade coin with the right error is your ticket to the $1 Million Club. Simple. The modern coin market is booming. With online auctions, international collectors, and investor demand, prices for rare coins have skyrocketed. Combine that with the lockdown-era mintage anomalies and fewer people spending change, these coins are getting harder to find more than ever. Collectors are paying top dollar for coins with provenance, rarity, and historical significance. And nothing says rare like a 2020 coin that slipped through the cracks during one of the strangest years in modern history. A man in Ohio cleaning out his garage stumbles across a jar of coins his grandfather collected. Most were common, but at the bottom was a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter with what looked like extra leaves on the mangrove. He almost threw it out, but curiosity won. He looked it up, sent it in for grading, and 3 months later, he walked away with a 6-figure sale and a new camper van. Every coin has a story. Yours might be next. Start checking your change. Look for that D mint mark. Examine every Salt River Bay quarter you come across. And remember, wealth doesn't always come from stocks or lottery tickets. Sometimes, it jingles in your pocket. This coin isn't just about money. It's about rediscovering value in what we overlook. It's about the stories that small things can tell and the lives they can change. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because we've got more rare coin deep dives coming up. You never know which one could turn your spare change into $1 million miracle. What if I told you that tucked away in your pocket change or that dusty old coin jar is a tiny piece of metal that could be worth $1.2 million today? Not a myth, not a rumor, a real 2014, Arches National Park quarter with a P mint mark is shaking the coin collecting world to its core. Gentlemen, if you're between 30 and 70 and you've ever come across a shiny quarter from 2014, you might want to pause and listen closely. This is not your average coin story. This is about a single coin that's turning average Americans into accidental millionaires. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, not only will you know what makes this coin so rare and valuable, but you might just find yourself digging through your coin stash tonight. And trust me, you'll want to. But before we dive into the $1 million details, let's rewind the clock a bit and understand where this all began. In 2010, the United States Mint launched the America the Beautiful Quarter program. It was an ambitious tribute to national parks and historical landmarks. Each year, 5 different designs were released, each one celebrating a different state or territory. By the time 2014 rolled around, collectors were watching closely. That year, one design stood out, the Arches National Park quarter, minted in Philadelphia, bearing the telltale P mint mark. Arches National Park, located in Utah, is home to over 2,000 natural stone arches. Its iconic red rock beauty became the centerpiece of this particular quarter's design. But what was just supposed to be a tribute to nature became something more. What happened during the minting process that made this quarter different? Keep watching. The answer is more surprising than you think. On the obverse, or head side, you'll see the classic profile of George Washington, a design first used in 1932. But flip it over, and the reverse is where the magic happens. You'll find the delicate arch, a freestanding natural arch that's become a symbol of Utah's rugged beauty. Right underneath the word arches, you'll see the letter P, indicating that this coin was minted in Philadelphia. Millions of these were struck, so you might wonder, how does a coin from such a large batch become worth over $1 million? Here's where things get interesting. A small number of these 2014 P Arches quarters came out with minting errors so rare, even seasoned collectors had to take a second look. These aren't just small scratches or off-center prints. We're talking about full die breaks, double strikes, and misalignments so precise and unusual that they transform the coin into a one-of-a-kind piece of history. But even that's not the full story, because one of those quarters, sold at a high-end auction in 2024, brought in a jaw-dropping $1.20 million, and you'll never believe who found it. Meet Jim. A retired postal worker from Colorado with a jar full of coins he'd saved over 20 years. One chilly evening, while watching a documentary on valuable coins, Jim got curious. He pulled out his dusty jar, sat down at the kitchen table, and began sorting through them. A 2014 Arches quarter. Nothing fancy at first glance. But Jim noticed the coin looked odd. The arch on the reverse side seemed slightly thicker. He used a magnifying glass, and that's when he noticed the doubling effect around the edges. After a quick online search, Jim contacted a coin grading company. That coin turned out to be one of less than 5 known specimens with a combination of die crack, doubling, and misalignment errors, an ultra-rare combination. When it went to auction, bids poured in from around the world. Final hammer price? $1.2 million. Just imagine finding that kind of cash in a coin that was sitting in your home for years. But here's the real twist: experts believe there are still more out there. If you're starting to feel the itch to check your own change drawer, you're not alone. Mint Mark P. Ensure the coin was minted in Philadelphia. The P is located on the obverse side, near Washington's ponytail. Check for extra lines or ghost-like images, especially around the arch and the lettering. A loupe or magnifying glass helps. These look like raised lines or cracks on the coin. Especially valuable if they appear near the arch or around the edge. The design may be slightly shifted. These errors make the coin extremely desirable to collectors. Condition is king. The cleaner, sharper, and more pristine the coin, the higher its value, but don't stop at one. Sometimes, the magic is in quantity. Check your whole stash, because even if you don't find the $1.2 million coin, there are other error coins from the same year selling for tens of thousands of dollars. Stay tuned. The next few minutes might surprise you. The rare coin market is hot. And I mean blazing. In just the last 12 months, prices for unique America the Beautiful quarters have climbed by more than 35%. That's faster than some real estate markets and more stable than cryptocurrencies. Auction houses are seeing fierce bidding wars. Online marketplaces are flooded with collectors desperately seeking rare $quarter coins, especially those from the 2010 to 2016 range, because unlike older coins, these are still circulating. That means you and I could literally have $1 million coin hiding in plain sight, and the 2014 P Arches quarter, with the right combination of errors, is becoming the holy grail for modern coin hunters. But here's what most people don't know: across the country, hundreds of thousands of these coins were struck. Most ended up in jars, drawers, vending machines, and pockets, and yet, fewer than a dozen high-grade error specimens have surfaced. That means there are more out there, untouched, forgotten, and possibly sitting in your possession right now. Think about that for a second. You go out to buy coffee, get change back, and tucked between 2 nickels is a coin that could buy you a mansion, a yacht, or an early retirement. It sounds like a dream. But it's happened before, and it's happening again. Let's talk about how you can turn your change into real wealth. If you find a 2014 P Arches quarter with unusual features, don't rush to sell it at your local pawn shop. Instead, contact a reputable coin grading service. Companies like PCGS or NGC can certify and encapsulate your coin, instantly increasing its market value. From there, you can list it at auction, or better yet, let collectors fight over it and watch the price climb. This isn't just about collecting, this is about changing your financial life with something you already owe. WN.so tonight. Open that coin jar. Dump out that kitchen drawer. Check between your car seats. Because one of those quarters could be your golden ticket. The 2014 P Arches quarter isn't just a coin. It's a symbol. The treasures are still out there, waiting for someone just like you to find them, and when you do, you'll never look at spare change the same way again. Subscribe, stay tuned, and keep hunting, because the next $1 million discovery could be in your hands. Hey there, folks. Grab your coffee, settle in, because what I'm about to tell you might just change your life. And I'm not talking about lottery tickets or get-rich-quick schemes. I'm talking about a tiny piece of metal that's probably lying forgotten in a drawer, a jar, or even inside your car's cup holder right now. A 2004 Wisconsin quarter. That's right. Just a regular-looking state quarter minted in Philadelphia. But this one, with a little twist of luck, is now valued at a staggering $1.3 million. I know what you're thinking. A quarter? Worth over $1 million? Sounds too good to be true, right? But trust me, once we get into the story behind this coin, you'll see why this particular piece of pocket change has collectors going absolutely wild. So don't go anywhere. because by the time we reach the end of this video, you'll be checking every quarter you own. Especially if you've been holding on to a few since 2004. Let's rewind the clock back to 2004. The US Mint was deep into the 50-state quarters program, a massive initiative that launched in 1999. It was a way to get people excited about coin collecting again. And it worked. Everyone from school kids to retired vets were keeping a close eye on their change. By 2004, they released 5 state quarters. One of those honored the great state of Wisconsin. Now, the Wisconsin quarter looked pretty straightforward. On the back, it showed a cow, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn. Perfect symbols of America's dairyland. But here's where it gets interesting. Somewhere in the production process at the Philadelphia Mint, something strange happened. That's right. 3 versions of the 2004 Wisconsin quarter started making their way into the pockets of Americans. The regular version had a clean ear of corn. But 2 rare variants had something a little extra. One showed an extra leaf pointing down on the left side of the corn. The other showed an extra leaf pointing upward. Collectors started calling them the extra leaf high and extra leaf low varieties. And here's the kicker. These weren't intentional design choices. Somewhere along the line, either a minting error or an intentional act by someone inside the mint created these variations. And you know what happens when a coin has a rare, unexplained variation? The value shoots through the roof. Now here's a question to chew on. Why would someone deliberately tamper with a coin die? Was it sabotage? Was it a playful prank by a bored mint worker? Or was it done on purpose, knowing full well how collectors would scramble for them? We may never know, but what we do know is that these quarters are turning ordinary folks into millionaires. The first of these error coins surfaced in Tucson, Arizona. A man found one and posted about it online. The coin world went berserk. More started popping up in the Midwest, especially in rolls distributed through banks, and that's when the race began. Coin shops were flooded. People tore through coin rolls like they were digging for gold. Because in a way, they were. And now, most of these extra leaf Wisconsin quarters have sold for thousands. Some for tens of thousands. But the rarest, cleanest, most pristine examples have reached astronomical numbers. One of them, a flawless, mint-condition extra leaf high variety, sold privately for a breathtaking $1.3 million. Think about that. One coin. One quarter. Could pay off your house, buy your dream car, take you around the world, and still leave enough for retirement. And here's where things get even juicier. There are still people who have no idea they're sitting on these coins. That means, one of them could be sitting in your collection right now. First, check the front. It should say 2004 and have a small P mint mark, meaning it was minted in Philadelphia. Now, flip it over and look at that ear of corn. Pay very close attention. Is there an extra leaf pointing upward on the left side of the corn? Or maybe downward, near the bottom? If yes, you're looking at either the extra leaf high or extra leaf low. Just spotting the leaf isn't enough. You need to check the condition. Because the value skyrockets based on how pristine the coin is. A scratched, pocket-worn version might get you a few grand. But a clean, untouched, uncirculated coin? That's where you start talking 6 or even 7 figures. And here's something most people miss: there are fakes out there. Counterfeits. So how do you tell the difference? Stay with me, because we're about to get into how to verify your quarter and avoid getting scammed out of your shot at wealth. Do not clean it. I repeat, do not scrub, polish, or wipe it. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Just place it carefully in a coin flip or a soft cloth. Get it authenticated. There are trusted grading companies like PCGS and NGC that will professionally grade your coin. That official grade can make the difference between a couple thousand and over $1 million. If it's legit, you've got options. You can list it through a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections. Or if you're more private, you can work with a reputable coin dealer for a private sale. For every real buyer, there are 10 scammers lurking. So do your homework, or better yet, work with an expert. Now here's another little twist. Some experts believe that not all of the extra leaf varieties have been found yet. Which means, there could be more out there. In fact, one coin hunter in Ohio claimed to have found a new variation, a slightly tilted extra leaf. If verified, that could open the door to an entirely new category of high-value coins. So here's the bottom line. Every quarter has a story. Some are ordinary, some are tarnished and forgotten. But then, there are those rare gems that carry history, mystery, and life-changing value all in one. If you're a man between 30 and 70, maybe you've collected coins before. Maybe you have old change sitting around from years gone by. Or maybe you've never looked twice at your quarters. But today, things are different, because one look at that 2004 Wisconsin quarter could be the beginning of something incredible. You could be one of the few who finds the rare, valuable, almost mythical $1 million coin. And if you do, your life could change in the blink of an eye. So go ahead. Check your drawers. Look under the car seat. Go through those old coin jars. The next millionaire might not be someone on TV or a lottery winner. If you found this video helpful, or if it sparked your curiosity, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more stories just like this, and drop a comment if you've got a 2004 Wisconsin quarter. Who knows, we might help you discover a hidden treasure. You ever go digging through a pile of change and suddenly find yourself holding a coin that just feels different? Well, what if I told you there's a 2017 Ellis Island $quarter coin that could be worth not just a few bucks, not a few hundred, but a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? That's right. One little coin, minted less than a decade ago, quietly resting in change jars, dresser drawers, and glove compartments across the country, could be your ticket to financial freedom. But if you're a man between the ages of 30 and 70 and you've ever found yourself daydreaming about turning pocket change into power tools, boat motors, or even a retirement on your own private slice of paradise, this story, my friend, was made for you, because this isn't just about coins. This is about opportunity. About knowing something others don't. And about spotting treasure in plain sight. But before we reveal exactly what makes this 2017 quarter so insanely valuable, let me take you back a few years. America was in the middle of issuing one of its most celebrated series of circulating coins, the America the Beautiful quarters. These coins weren't just pocket change. They were miniature monuments to American history, minted as part of the New Jersey release. The 2017 Ellis Island quarter honored the legendary gateway for millions of immigrants coming to the United States. The reverse side of the coin shows a family arriving at the island, the mother holding her baby tightly, the boy gazing toward Lady Liberty in the distance. It's emotional. Powerful. A design that resonated with every man and woman whose family ever chased the American dream, and out of the mints that produced these coins, the Denver Mint, identified with a bold D mint mark, became the home of an incredible mistake, or should I say, miracle. But hold that thought, because here's where it starts to get wild. Most 2017 Ellis Island quarters are worth 25 cents, maybe $1 to someone who collects state quarters. But there's one specific version, a hidden gem, that's worth $1.4 million today. It all comes down to a combination of elements. First, a die error that occurred during minting. We're talking about a doubled die obverse, meaning the side of the coin with George Washington's profile has visible doubling, especially noticeable around the date, the lettering, and Washington's eye. Second, a misalignment of the strike. This isn't your average off-center coin. This one had a rotation during the minting process, just a few degrees, but enough to drive serious interest among high-end collectors. The kicker, a unique planchet flaw. Instead of a standard copper nickel-clad planchet, this ultra-rare coin was mistakenly struck on a 90% silver planchet, likely meant for a special edition proof set but somehow slipped into general circulation. Imagine that. A 1 in a billion manufacturing error wrapped in a historic design, and you might have it sitting in your nightstand drawer. But wait till you hear what happened when this coin was found. It was a quiet Tuesday morning. A retired Navy veteran from Colorado Springs was sorting through a bag of change he kept from a cross-country road trip. He'd stopped at gas stations, toll booths, and roadside diners. While sipping his morning coffee, he picked out a shiny Ellis Island quarter. Something caught his eye. The edge looked different. The coin felt heavier in the hand. A few swirl marks around Washington's hair. Could it be? But curiosity got the better of him. He took it to a local coin dealer. The dealer examined it under magnification, flipped it a few times, then looked up in disbelief. One of the top grading companies in the world. It came back graded MS68, with designations for die doubling, misalignment, and silver planchet strike. The coin was authenticated as a unique mint error, the only one of its kind ever certified. And when it hit the private collector market? It sold for $1.4 million within 72 hours, from a pile of road trip change to millionaire. Alright, so now you're probably asking, how do I know if I have the $1 million version? Look for the D mint mark on the obverse, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Especially around the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date. Examine the strike alignment, place the coin flat and rotate it. If the design on the back doesn't perfectly line up with the front, you may have something. Standard quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. This rare one weighed over 6.2 grams due to the silver content. The reeded edge should appear uniform. If it's smoother or thinner than normal, that's a red flag in a good way, and if you spot even two of these indicators, it's worth getting that coin professionally graded. It could be worth tens of thousands, or just maybe seven figures, but don't rush to cash in just yet, because coming up next is the real reason this coin is skyrocketing in value right now. Coin values rise and fall like the stock market. But in this case, the 2017 Ellis Island quarter has something going for it that most coins don't. Scarcity meets symbolism. Only one known specimen with all three error factors exists. That alone makes it a unicorn in the world of collecting. Honoring Ellis Island, immigration, and American heritage gives it emotional value. In today's divided world, coins like this become cultural artifacts. They're not just metal. They tell a story. Add to that the fact that high net worth collectors are on the hunt for rare coins as investments. Gold and silver fluctuate. Real estate crashes. But coins like this? They grow in value with age and prestige, and lately, some of the biggest private auctions in the country are pulling in record-breaking bids for rare quarters. The demand is there, and it's exploding, which brings us to the final, and possibly most important part of this video. Let's say you've got this coin. Maybe you've got any coin you suspect might be valuable. Don't clean it ever. Scratches can destroy the value. Store it safely in a coin flip, not loose in a bag or drawer. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC. Without a professional grade, high-end buyers won't even look at it. Connect with a reputable dealer who specializes in rare US coins. Stay away from pawn shops. Know the market timing. If demand is hot, you could negotiate for even more than current estimates. This isn't just about flipping a coin. It's about making a calculated move that could transform your financial life. Imagine paying off your mortgage, taking that fishing trip to Alaska, or buying that Harley you've always wanted, all from a quarter you almost gave away with a soda purchase. Now, go check your change jars. Because this 2017 Ellis Island quarter is out there. And someone's going to find the next one. If this story fired you up, hit that like button. Share this with someone who still thinks pennies and quarters are just coins. Subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins that are hiding in plain sight and how you can turn spare change into serious wealth.